Good morning, good morning, good morning, CEOs. Good morning, co-creators of Extraordinary Outcomes. It is 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to Monday Morning Magic with Coach B, the CEO. Got a great topic for you today. And I do want to share something with you. I know last week I had mentioned I'm going to be on YouTube for a little while, then come back over here to Facebook. But the topic that I have, oh my God, I don't know. This weekend, in terms of YouTube and what people are putting out in the atmosphere, there's so many life lessons for a life coach like myself to dive into. This is one of those episodes where I get a chance to use real life situations, current events, which is very rare for me, but I get an opportunity to use current events to talk about real life lessons as it relates to coaching. And I can't wait to dive into this with you guys today. But let me check in, find out how your weekend was. I hope it was good. We had a little bit of snow, which is great. Uh, I love the snow. I love snowball fighting. So I'm happy when I see snow. Love to play in the snow. Uh, but I hope your weekend was good. Now, let me get to this topic. You would have to be sleeping under a rock if you have not heard about this Katt Williams conversation on Club Shay. Now, I'm not really familiar with this guy because I'm not really into sports or anything like that. But I was curious. I'm like, what happened that it has the internet, the Twitterverse ablaze? I'm like, what is going on? So I decided to take a look at the interview in its entirety. Let me just say, I just checked the numbers like 2, 3 minutes ago. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is up to 33 million. 33 million. If let me just check it one more time in real time. I think it's up to 33 million. And why is this so important? Why is this so important? There were so many nuggets in this interview. See, I'm not here to talk about who's right, who's wrong, what's good, what's bad, who did what to who did this and who did that. That's not the purpose of my channel. That's not for me. But I want to talk about, I'm looking it up right now. And this is the other side of Kirk Franklin. Let me turn that down. I don't want no problem. Yes, it's up to 33 million. 30 million, 33 million. That might mean that people watched it twice, might mean that they watched it one time, they watched some of it or whatever. But those are phenomenal numbers. And I think the other guy name is Joe Rogan or something like that. He had the top 2 spots, right? The top 3 spots, rather. Now it's him and this guy from Club Shay. 1, 2, and 3. Great stuff, right? Now let me get to the topic at hand. Coaching lessons from the Katt Williams conversation on Club Shay. And this is all going to be business coaching related, not personal. Like I said, we're not here for the good, bad, right or wrong, or anything like that. I want to talk about the business aspect of this interview. The business aspect. I see somebody's watching. I got a heart out there. Thank you for the love. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to leave a comment, feel free to do so. I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, feel free to do so. The comment will show up like that. I'll see it when it comes up. But let me just get to the business aspect because I took some notes. If anybody knows anything about me, I'm a studious person. I like taking notes. I like learning information. So let me get into some of the things that came up. And I'm talking about concepts and principles that came up in this interview. So one of the things that came up is knowing your audience. Who are you speaking to? Who are you trying to serve? Knowing your audience. Who are you trying to serve? He comes into the interview. I came here for a particular reason because he knew who his audience would be. And when I say he, I mean Katt Williams. He knew who his audience would be. That's a lesson right there. That's a lesson. Sometimes we're speaking to the wrong audience. Sometimes we're speaking to the wrong audience. When I said, you know what, I'm going to try YouTube for a little while because I want to see what's going on with the numbers, I'm trying to find out where I can best be of service. I want to know where my audience is. Now, a lot of people will tell you who have more experience on YouTube and Facebook, listen, you need to be on all the platforms. And if you can do it simultaneously, feel free to do that, especially if you are trying to grow your business. Why is that? Now, I want to say I'm in a business. I have a business. And some of my clientele are repeat clientele. Some have been long-standing clientele. However, I still need to be able to reach out to a new market. How are they going to find me if they don't see me, if they don't hear me, and I'm not out there? I got to know my audience. I got to know where to find people at. Again, we're talking about business tips. I'm not into the salaciousness, the gossip, who's right, who's wrong, what's good, what's bad. I want to talk about the business tips from this conversation. The second thing that he talked about, standards. What are your standards? What are your ethics? How do you want to carry yourself in your business? What are your fast and hard yeses? And what are your fast and hard no's? He said, listen, I've been made some offers, but I said no to some of them because they did not fit my standards. So when we're in partnership with people, it's a good idea to make sure that there's some type of alignment with standards of what? Professional practices. If you're a type of organization that does X, Y, and Z, and I'm not really down with that, then I need to think about that. You know, there's saying out there that all money is not good money and not all money is green. So sometimes we want to get ahead, especially when we're new. And we feel like, wow, we got to take the money. 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 Just get the money. Got to pay bills. Got to do what I got to do. And we could lose in the process our professional standards. Now, here's the catch to this. Somebody else's professional standards does not have to be my professional standard. You know, they have this saying out there, right? You know, I'm standing on business, 10 toes down. I'm standing on business, 10 toes down. That's all well and good. What are you standing on? What's your values? What's your ethics? What's going on here? What are you standing on? Again, when you come into a business, and I want to be clear, I've been listening to so many interviews with so many different people, and I cannot name one person yet out of all the interviews I've been watching that hasn't talked about this thing called a learning curve. That you're going to get into your business, you don't know everything, you're going to find out some things as you go. As you grow, you're going to find out some things. Now, some of these lessons are going to be hard won. Some of them are going to like fill you up spiritually, like, it's going to feel like a eureka moment. And be like, okay, I got it. Some of those lessons are going to hurt. They're going to hurt you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and financially. They're going to hurt. but it's part of the learning curve. It's part of the learning curve. All right, make sure my phone ain't on because these videos will pop up and then I have another problem on my hand. I don't want that. Right? So that can happen. Then he says, you know what? I'm independent. I'm independent. I have a business. I take my money and I invest in my business. This is what Katt Williams said. Then he said, if somebody hires me in a particular town or place, I give back financially to the community. He pours back into the community that poured into him. I'm like, wow, that's mind blowing. Because a lot of times when I think about tithing and tithing and offering, I think about a particular entity that I want to tithe to or entity. But he has what? Expanded my mind. You know what? I do business with a number of people. Maybe what I could do, you know what? Maybe I could tie back into that nonprofit. Maybe I could tie back into that governmental agency. Or maybe I could tie back into a different area of interest. Got to give it back. Got to give it back, right? Can't keep it, they say, unless you give it away. Then he says, you know what? What type of contracts am I having? What type of contracts am I managing? Real big stuff. What type of contracts am I having? What type of stuff am I managing? Listen, if you are starting a business, in a business, growing a business, listen, contracts are really important and you got to read the fine print. You got to read the fine print. Don't sign it without reading it. Don't sign it without reading it because all of these things are important. Like I said, I'm here to talk about the business end of what happened in the conversation. Another thing he spoke about, or that I'm adding to this, is what? Whoa, policies, practices, and procedures. How do things happen? This guy came into a particular movie and he said, listen, I'm the best guy for the job. I'm the best guy for the job. Let me show you and tell you how I am the best guy for the job. He had so many creative, my light just went out, so now I'm sitting in the dark, but it's okay. He had so many creative ideas because he was ready. He was prepared. He had ownership of his idea, of his dream, of his concept. And guess what? The producers of the movie said, you know what? Let's take these suggestions. Let's take these ideas. Let's take these concepts. Let's run with this. Because what? The person was prepared. They had a dream. They put their all in it. They went the extra mile. All of these are business concepts. Going the extra mile. Knowing who your audience is. Who are you partnering with? Where's your level of generosity? And you might say, how can I be generous and I'm barely making money? Still be generous. Still give something. It don't have to be money. It could be time. It could be an idea. Still be generous. Be of service to people. Man, I'm so excited about this conversation. So excited. There's so much more that was said during that 2 hour, 40 something minutes and seconds conversation. So much more that can actually, if you go and listen to it, that you can glean for yourself. But the parts that I want to present to you today as a coach, because some people, like I said, me, I'm a life coach. We talk about growing business, personal and professional development. We talk about those things. But these are some of the things that you need to consider if you're starting, growing, or maintaining a business. Who are you partnering with? Who's your audience? Do you need to stretch outside of your comfort zone? How do people find you if they want you, need you, and want to do business with you? What are you bringing to the table? And are you willing to go the extra mile because you have a belief in your product, in your service, who you are? So, when I said to you earlier, I've listened to a lot of interviews over the years. No, I've been keyed into these interviews because I'm like, you know what? These people have gone a step further than what I've gone. I want to know what did they do to get to where they're at. I don't have to be in the same genre of business because success leaves clues and so does failure. Success leaves clues, so does failure. What did they have to do? What did they have to overcome? How were they persistent? How were they consistent? What were some of the lessons learned that they had to overcome and then make a decision on whether or not, or choose rather, what did they have to choose to do when things didn't work out the way they expected or wanted? I can get into some of the other stuff that he talked about, but I don't want to go there just yet. That might take place in another Monday Morning Magic. That might take place there. As a life coach, you want to start a business? Are you up for the job? Are you ready? Are you up for the job? Doesn't mean that you got to have everything known to you right now. Because as I said earlier, some things you're going to learn as you're in the process. Nobody has started a business that I know of. Like I said, I listen to a lot of interviews from the most wealthiest people to people that are just starting out and people in between. I have yet to hear an interview, hear somebody else's process that didn't say it was a process, that they had some wins, they got set back, they had to make up their mind. What was their next step? What did they choose to do? See, a lot of times when you say you got a business, and I hear people talk about this all the time, you know, people in their mind, in their imagination, they think you got 99,000 people working underneath you. That's what they think. They think that you're a billionaire. When people say, or when you say you got a business, how people hear that, how people interpret it is amazing. It is amazing because people forget that every last one of those businesses, I don't care if we're talking about the Bezos, I don't care if we're talking about the founder of Microsoft or the web, whoever we're talking about, they all started out with a customer, a client. Now, whether or not that was a wealthy client, not so wealthy client, doesn't make a difference. Everybody had to start off with one client. Everybody had to take their dream and put it on the line. They had to stand on business. And sometimes, like I said, they had great days. Some days they had setback. And then they chose, you know what? I don't care what happens. I'm staying the course. They were persistent and consistent to get to where they are. But I never heard, and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, I have yet to hear anybody say that they were in a business, and again, I don't care what kind of business it is, that they never, ever, ever, ever had a setback. So if you're in business, please know that you're going to have setbacks. Please know that the people that you do business with, some partnerships are going to work, some partnerships are not going to work. Don't personalize it. Let it go because it's par for the course. Again, I thought that conversation on Club Shay with Katt Williams was so profound on a business level. Again, not into the gossip, not into whether it was accurate, inaccurate, whatever. Not into that. Not at all. So, as a coach, as a life coach. What I want to ask you today is this: are you ready? Are you ready? You say you want a business. Are you ready? Are you ready to get ready to have a business? And why do I say that? Are you ready to get ready? Because you don't have to have everything. However, you got to show up. You got to show up. Some people, I don't have the money. I don't have this. You got the time. You got the time to do the research. You got the time to interview people. You got the time to talk to people. You got the time to put your policies, your procedures. You got time for that, right? So a lot of times, building that back end is just as important as getting that money. Because sometimes, if you don't build that back end, you can make that money and find out that that back end ain't built, and that's going to be problematic. So don't worry about the money so much. Think about how are you utilizing your time to build your business? What are some of the things that you could do that don't cost money right now that you could still be building into or for your business? I'm excited. I could talk about this all day long, but I don't have all day, so I won't be here all day. But this has been your Monday Morning Magic. Like, share, leave a comment, and I'll see you next Monday.